Did you know that parents rank financial literacy as the #1 most difficult life skill to teach? Meet Greenlight, the debit card and money app for families. With Greenlight, you can send money to kids quickly, set up chores, automate allowance, and keep an eye on your kids' spending with real-time notifications. Kids learn to earn, save, and spend wisely. And parents can rest easy knowing their kids are learning about money with guardrails in place. Try Greenlight risk-free today at greenlight.com/getstarted. That's GREENLIGHT.com/getstarted.
Opening pop culture salvo.
Opening pop culture salvo.
Additional statements so that it's established that I'm also here.
Demonstration of id based on thematic behavior.
Ego reaction.
Acquiescence to the id.
Demonstration of the superego. Demonstration of the superego.
Statement of unwilling participation. Build on sketch game. Build on sketch game. Call back to character relationships.
Reinforcement of character relationships.
Ad-lib.
Reminder of superego pressed towards game resolution.
Reminder of acquiescence.
Sketch turn. Improvised low status character sketch topper. Improvised post sketch topper edition that demonstrates the desire to play a high status character.
Hello and welcome to Citation Needed, the podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts because this is the internet and that's how it works now. I'm Noah and I'll be leading this session, but it turns out this is group therapy. So first up are two men that have yanked out water fountains just to get out of a boring meeting, Tom and Heath.
You know, the real skill is doing it after the lobotomy. That separates the men from the boys.
Yeah, or at a John Birch Society, where I'm no longer welcome. They're big about their fountains. They have a whole thing about fountains.
And also joining us tonight are two men who put the psycho-anal and psychoanalyze Cecil and Eli.
If you do anal in black and white film, can you tell the difference between the chocolate sauce and the blood?
Cecil, I have told you, if you are the one being filmed, yes. How many times do I have to tell you this?
I like the idea of doing anal in black and white so it's classy.
Yeah,
you know?
right.
That's
No,
good.
exactly.
That clinky music behind it.
You know, at first I wrote the people who put the rapist back in therapist, and then I thought it occurred to me where you guys would go with that, and I went anal. I thought it would be better. I don't know if it was. All right, so before we get things going tonight, I want to take a minute to thank our patrons who aren't as judgmental as that fat reindeer asshole. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around to the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Tom, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today, and I am hesitant to say this, we will be talking about Sigmund Freud. So
Okay. And
I'm not scared. You're scared. That's fine.
Yeah.
what will come
I
out?
wonder who did this essay.
Right, yeah, okay. So, Heath, you penised this article. You read this article. Are you ready to fixate us orally?
Fuck my mom. There were like 12 takes. That's the best take, everybody. That's the best take.
Silver Fox model.
Hi, Mrs. Heath.
Callback. All right, so Heath, who was Sigmund Freud?
Sigmund Freud was an Austrian neurologist and the founder of psychoanalysis. That's the practice of trying to heal psychopathy by talking to people with mental health issues instead of immediately throwing them in jail or finding them a husband.
Same thing at the time.
So he's kind of like an early feminist. No, he's not. But he definitely transformed the fields of psychology and psychiatry from, yup, that person is crazy, into let's figure out why that person is crazy. And according to his most famous theory and his central tenet of psychoanalysis, we all have an unconscious desire from childhood to kill our father and marry our mother, or vice versa.
Hey, kill our father? That must be the first part of the prequel to all that porn I've been watching. Okay.
Yeah.
I skip ahead a lot.
Wait, we used to talk to the mentally ill. Now we just let them be homeless and ignore them. I think that's for everybody involved.
Is putting spikes on our park benches ignoring them, Cecil? Because I think that acknowledges them.
I love that you can't make it through a single paragraph about this dude before he gets to insane levels of wrong.
It's so wrong. It's so much wrong.
You know what? And
wrong.
Heath, I have. It's fine. We'll get there. We'll get to my opinions. We will get to my defenses.
All right. So Freud was born on May 6th, 1856, in the Moravian town of Freiburg in the Austrian Empire. His father was a wool merchant named Jakob Freud, who was recently remarried to a woman named Amalia Nathanson, who was 20 years younger. Big pin in that for later. For now, just remember that his dad was 41 and his mom was 21. So when Sigmund turned 13, his dad would be 54 and his mom would be 34.
A little note, Keith. You wrote, Dad, I think you misspelled hero in that last paragraph, so you might want to revise.
Also, Heath, you're doing math way too quick for my abacus. Can you just okay, Dad was I moved a bead with my finger. I lost it all. Start over.
All right, so quick little fun fact about baby Sigmund. He was born with a caul, which is C-A-U-L. It's a large membrane that covers a newborn's head and face. Yeah. And apparently his mom thought this was good luck somehow. It occurs in about 1 out of every 80,000 kids, but it's not usually a problem, and the doctor or the midwife just cuts it off when you're born.
What if they don't? What if they just let it sit there? You got you walk around like you're chewing gum for the rest of your life. Just like a weird, fleshy space helmet. Just no, let it be. Let's see how long it'll last.
I wonder if there's like an activist group that's like, hey, get the fuck off the calls. Leave that shit.
Yes, there is, Heath.
Well,
they're called the call was coming from inside the building. That's what they're. Yeah.
They didn't know if they were going to join the activism committee, but they felt a calling. I'm sorry.
Somebody say shit tits.
Edited.
Fuck you.
Yeah, so anyway, they cut the call off. That's standard. And since this was a Jewish family,
I think I dropped the call.
They also. You guys good? You want to get it all out? There's a lot of homophone uses for the syllable call.
Is it? We should wait. We got call waiting.
We need to call it off, guys. This is just. Eli's not laughing at all. He's just furious right now.
So man. When you hear this track by itself later, you're gonna use it. You're gonna use just the livid range. I'm like the audio from the Nuremberg trials over here. Just the last words of Meyer Kahane on my end.
Oh God. Oh fuck.
London calling. All right, so yeah, he had a call. He had a fucking weird skin thing on his face. They cut it off, and since this was a Jewish family, they also cut off a piece of Sigmund's penis. Another pin in that for later. We're going to need lots of pins, actually. This is going to be a whole theme, is my guess.
For our penises?
Yep.
Way ahead of me.
All different reasons for pins. For now, just remember, he's got a barely legal mom. He was born with a skin mask on his face and his penis. And both of those things were taken away without his permission by his dad. Just keep all that in mind.
Everyone goes through a period where their parents tell them not to call anymore. So,
really?
Freud's business card just said, here's my number. Call me maybe.
It's a calling card.
Call Bunyan.
What?
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 I was doing the thing.
Nope. Nope, no, you weren't. Also, the way you spelled bunion is fucking insane.
Like lumberjack.
In that joke,
So much by union.
So many words begin with BY. I just
BYU. No
I mean, like,
less.
if it's not BYOB, I've never seen it.
Well, there's by. Okay. So where does this story diverge from the origin story for Slenderman?
All right, so moving ahead to Freud's early education. He started out being homeschooled by his weirdly hot mom.
She no. She looks like Jeff Sessions before the acid attack, man. Google a picture of her.
Like I said, his weirdly hot mom moving forward. He's being homeschooled by his weirdly hot mom, which means his uncontrollable kid boners were happening while he was watching his mother give nerdy lectures. And, if he had any recess time, he was running up to his mom on the playground and pulling her hair and pushing her down. So, again, more pins.
Yeah. Hey, he's not for nothing, but can we do just like one essay of yours that doesn't make me feel like I'm getting an uncomfortable insight into your weird personal life?
Yes, we cannot.
Hey, Tom, I've done 688 podcast episodes with him. You can't.
Correct.
No. 3 nopes.
Yeah. So, apparently Sigmund did quite well at homeschool.
Yeah, top of his class.
Top of his class. And eventually enrolled in a German prep school where he continued to excel academically. Then when he was 17 years old, he went to the University of Vienna with a plan to study law. But he quickly decided to focus on medicine instead, especially physiology. This included a project with Darwinist zoology professor Karl Klaus, during which Freud spent 4 entire weeks cutting up eels, looking for their penises and never finding them. Pin.
He's just walking around college thinking about MILFs. More rays he'd like to fillet.
Well, I, for one, also find a fascination with eel penises weird and disturbing. And my next essay will be about wall calendars.
So, Freud finally graduated from the University of Vienna with an MD after 8 years of study. And the following year, he began his medical career at Vienna General Hospital, doing mostly research work related to the
eel
physiology.
penises.
No, close though, to the physiology of the human brain.
So close.
And yeah, very close, absolutely. And if you listen to our episode on the history of cocaine, you might remember that during this time, he wrote a paper about how cocaine is super duper fun and awesome called Uber Coca. And during the next decade or so, he prescribed cocaine as a pain reliever, a way to fix a morphine addiction.
Or change it, yeah.
And this is my favorite one, a way to soothe nasal inflammation. And, of course, is a thing that doctors with prescription pads should take themselves if they feel like it. And he felt like it a lot.
Hello, doctor. I've got a problem with...
Not enough cocaine. Yeah, here, try this cocaine. Fixes that right up.
No, what I was going to say that I was going to...
You're out of cocaine. Yep, happens to me all the time. Here you go, buddy.
No, I don't think...
That you haven't got enough cocaine. I've got you covered.
Would you just stop and listen? I've got a very serious...
Lack of cocaine. Yeah. Okay, now, all I have here... but if you wait until Tuesday, my guy will be around. We can go splitsies. Do you have insurance? That helps.
This is the best syphilis I've ever had.
Right?
If you mix his cocaine addiction with his biology class, you can see why he had a fetish for high eels.
Turn an object of comfort into one of disgust.
Wait, what?
That's Freudian for shit tits.
That's fair.
Which one gives you the comfort, Eli? I just want to know which of those gives you the comfort.
You don't want to know.
I don't want to know. I take that
I see how unopened my emails go.
All right. Speaking of shit tits and addictions, Freud was also a longtime tobacco smoker. He started with cigarettes around age 24, and then eventually became a big cigar smoker too. Apparently, he thought this made his brain work better and provided a great way to exercise his self-control ability. He was just working it out. But turns out he was really just, paying for that gym membership and eating donuts in the sauna because, spoiler, he ends up dying from mouth cancer from the cigars. But for a while there, Freud insisted that those addictions were actually good and provided a substitute for masturbation, which he called, quote,
Why would you
the one great habit, end quote.
That's fair. Yeah.
Agree on the great.
Yeah.
To repeat that last part while you get your pins out, he thought sucking on a tobacco tube was a great substitute for masturbating.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a 1 point for masturbation on this one. Jerking off doesn't give you hand cancer, so I'm going to...
Unless you use vape liquid for lube, which I do.
How often was this guy masturbating that he thought like a good 1-to-1 trade-off between smoking and jerking off existed? Like, I'm going through a pack a day of jerking off.
Just taking breaks in the middle of the workday to go jerk off. Oh, come on. I don't get a jerk off break.
What's the big deal? I'm 15 feet away from the door. Fuck you. It's my right.
Look, as the smoker on the call here, I can tell you a cigarette in your hand will discourage you, but it won't prevent you. It can still happen.
And a couple other fun details about Sigmund Freud. He was an atheist raised in a Jewish household who focused heavily on the bounding of desire by law. He was also an avid reader of William Shakespeare. And according to many experts, his views on psychology and human sexuality were based on extremely disturbing Shakespeare characters. So it was a fun lesson for all of us, whoever might be listening on the call, just any of us. Jewish kids who turn atheist and study too much Shakespeare might need to monitor their mental health and might have terrifying views on sexuality. Just anybody.
Okay, see, so he's using history to attack me. We said in the meeting, no using history to attack each other.
Counterpoint, an interesting addition to that, Heath, is Freud wasn't kosher, so he could consume massive amounts of Sir Francis Bacon, too. So, makes sense.
Why would you do this to me? Why is he so far?
So
Take that, Eli.
Freud started his transition from neurology research into a career in clinical psychiatry around 1885. That's when he started a fellowship in Paris with Jean-Martin Charcot, who was studying hypnosis, which is nonsense. And to Freud's credit, he quickly realized that and stopped using hypnosis with his patients.
It's medium nonsense.
Yeah, it's medium nonsense, exactly. But it gave him the idea to focus on talking with patients and using techniques like free association, or just shouting stuff out is what that means. And he'd use that to delve into repressed memories and the root causes of personal trauma. And this all became the basis for what he began calling psychoanalysis.
I love this. I love that up until this moment, I guess, if somebody was acting crazy, nobody thought to talk to that guy.
No, they did not.
Jim's been acting real down lately.
Oh, well, did you ask him what's going on?
Of course not.
Good, let's put him in prison.
Excellent plan.
We haven't moved far. All right, well, I'll tell you what, I can't speak for everybody, but I know I've got a cigarette to masturbate, so before we delve any deeper, we're going to take a quick break for a little apropos of nothing.
And of course, this is our laboratory.
Good.
And one of our brightest young minds, Sigmund Freud. Meet Dr. Feinster.
Ah, pleasure to meet you.
Ah, the same.
So tell Dr. Feinster about you, what you're up to.
Well, I am looking for eel dicks.
I'm sorry, you're searching for...
Eel dicks, man. I mean,
eel
not
dicks.
just
You said
eel
that.
dicks.
Okay.
I search for all the dicks. But I already made my way through a bunch of other animals. There's a monkey dick. There's a whole jar of dog dicks over there. And of course, Those are my horse dicks.
Yes, young Sigmund has quite the collection.
I do over 146 dicks and counting.
Sorry, so your brightest student has a collection of dicks?
Yes, I headed big places, this one.
But my boy, we live in the age of Darwin. You could travel the world, explore her marvels, open new worlds of science and information on the Galapagos Islands or something like that.
Wow. You really think?
Of course.
Just imagine all the unexplored dicks they must have there on the Galapagos
A
Islands.
wonder, to be sure.
Okay.
So many dicks.
All right.
And we're back. When we last left, our notes were ready to lead an army of Cenobites. Heath, are you ready to start threading together some of those pins that we've been putting in?
Yeah, so this is where Freud's career starts really taking off. We're in the 1890s now, and he's doing all this psychoanalysis on his patients, and he's writing papers and books about it. Now, just to be clear, psychoanalysis, as practiced by Freud, is almost entirely nonsense. Turns out that talking through a repressed memory that may or may not be real doesn't really help improve any symptoms. We know that now.
What do you remember about your mother? Describe her breast to me.
Are you sure you're a doctor?
I am sure you are not a doctor. So, perky? Was it like perky breasts or?
If I tell you again, will you refill my prescription?
We will fill it together.
Perky. Very perky.
Like normal nipples, not weird big nipples, right? Because those are gross.
A little puffy, but taut. Little.
Oh, no. Get out of my office.
Yeah, so that's why modern doctors usually focus on psychopharmacology instead, which is using medicine, or cognitive behavioral therapy, which is basically telling patients to stop thinking and acting like a crazy person. Still not perfect, but definitely better.
And Freud's method arguably is better than what they were doing, which is basically that scene from Airplane where there's that huge line of people ready to slap the shit out of the anxious woman. You know?
Now we call that a Supreme Court justice confirmation. So, yeah.
So, just to recap, a psychiatrist used to be essentially a brain dentist, just like stabbing people in the head with sharp tools in hopes of finding the extra mushy part and fixing it somehow. And Freud did help us move toward a better approach. But the stuff he came up with to make that happen is fucking bonkers. And that's what we're going to talk about now.
Okay. Before we get into the wacky bits, which I admit are there, I would like to take a moment to defend Sigmund Freud, okay? Because you bring up Sigmund Freud and everybody's like, oh, the guy with the Oedipus complex and cocaine. But nobody does that to the other scientists. Nobody's like, oh, Newton?
Don't
you mean
they?
the guy who looked for magic in the Bible numbers and dabbled in math? He invented therapy, and you do all want to fuck your mothers. Yes, you do. You do. You want to fuck your mothers. You do. Think about it. You just did. You just wanted to fuck your mother. Right there, at home, listening on your iPod. You were like, a little bit. Exactly. You fucked your mother.
If Freud invented, like, the calculus of me fucking my mom, like, I'd talk about it differently.
He invented the calculus of you fucking your mom.
All right, so let's start with Freud's idea called the seduction theory,
This is not great.
which says that, no, it's not. It says that mental problems are all based on being sexually abused as a kid. During this period, Freud was treating patients with hysteria and obsessional neurosis. And his technique was basically to have these people talk until they mentioned childhood sexual abuse. And if they didn't do that, he'd yell at them until they remembered. And then he published a paper explaining how 100% of his patients were abused as a child.
Like I said before, Freud's way too focused on MILFs. Now he's into memories I'd like to forget, you know?
Or maybe everyone was sexually abused as a kid, right?
I was not sexually abused as a kid.
Or were you?
No, nope, no.
Or were you?
I was
Well,
not.
Freud was way better at it than me. If you do it enough, they say yes.
So Freud eventually read his own paper about this and realized that show me on the doll was not the best science. That's not ideal, especially since most of the patients were like, dude, I was just trying to get you to calm down and stop injecting cocaine directly into your dick. Pretty sure I wasn't abused. But this did lead him to the idea of the unconscious mind. He believed that traumatic ideas and experiences were often repressed as part of a defense mechanism, but would remain in our mind separate from our conscious thoughts and then reappear sometimes. And this negative content in our unconscious mind was often the driver of negative behavior, like being obsessive compulsive or spending all your family's money on cocaine, just all different negative things.
Yeah, I mean, you have a subconscious mind. That is definitely true, and we've proven it. And it's not just a fancy way of saying you can't think all your thoughts at the same time. So, very true.
But to be fair, though, if you do enough cocaine, every thought except I should do more cocaine is subconscious.
Now, another component of this unconscious mind theory is the idea of displacement. This is another defense mechanism in which we take a desire that's unacceptable and displace it onto something that's more appropriate. For example, let's say you really hate your boss and you want to suck his dick to get back at him, but you know you'll get fired for that. So instead, you get a prostitute and suck his dick. Oh,
wait.
Okay, I feel like I made it confusing, but okay. Better example. It's like when you want to kill your dad, but you kill a homeless guy instead. Nope.
Now I get it.
It's like when you want to fuck your mom, but you fuck a homeless guy instead, or your wife, In the article, they used the mom to wife example as boring. I was trying not to use the same one.
You know, Ethan, while you're reading that, I kept thinking there is literally no better way to describe the Huckabee family than what you just said.
All right, come on, Cecil. David Huckabee only killed a dog.
So way worse than a homeless person.
Okay. Right, no, yeah.
And super similar to his mom. So coming together. Big defense.
On this next one coming up, I actually feel like Freud nailed it. Another version of displacement that he talks about is displacement of you being a bigot. For example, instead of just admitting that you hate gay people, you pretend that God hates gay people and you're just following the rules of God. And then you kill a homeless guy and suck his dick. But like in a bad way. In a bad way is what I mean. It's like a bad, you kill a homeless guy and suck his dick. So basically, religion ruins everything is what I'm saying.
Religion really does have a special kind of hate for the gays, though. No one's setting up a sniper stand outside of a divorce court, you know?
Tom.
Well, not for religious reasons, no. That's what.
I thought I just loved Hawaiian themed lighting. You mean I really hate the Jews? Oh, God damn it.
Okay, Tom, you knew that you hated the Jews.
I also like Hawaiian lighting.
All right, so moving on from that, one other example. Displacement can also involve switching out body parts for other stuff as the object of your desire. And I only include this because I want to read the exact words from Wikipedia. It says, quote, sexual attraction toward a human body can be displaced in sexual fetishism, sometimes onto a particular body part like the foot, or at other times onto an inanimate object. And then, for no reason, it says, novelist John Cleland referred to the vagina as the nethermouth. End quote.
The nethermouth.
Yep.
John Cleland's like, fine, all right, you know, I'm just going to call it the nethermouth, and then I'm technically getting more BJs, so there we go. Nethermouth.
I love that that's made it into the article and is still there, though. Like, that's what we like to call a not going to touch that in the wiki business, everybody.
The wiki business?
Yeah, with Tom Cruise.
Oh, shit.
All right. That brings us to another major theme in Freud's work. The interpretation of dreams.
Yeah, in case this was all seeming too rational for you
My favorite thing right now is we've made Heath uncomfortable with his own essay topic, and he's trying to move on. He's like, come on, guys, let's get serious. It's a serious topic about my own personal peccadillos.
Yeah, all right, so here we go. Interpretation of dreams. Freud's theory basically says that dreams allow us to indulge repressed desires that we can't act out in real life. But it's tricky to figure it all out because our unconscious mind turns these already weird desires into just that like crazy nonsense inside the dream world. So we wake up and all we remember is what Freud calls the manifest content or surface level stuff. Like, okay, I remember I was fucking a chess piece of my mom at a Barney concert and I was made of yogurt. Just like manifest, clear stuff.
Yogurt.
But the key is to tease out what he calls the latent content or the actual hidden meaning. And by talking through our dreams, ideally while paying somebody way too much money per hour, we can figure out what we secretly desire.
Great. This is awesome. This is good. Thanks, Heath. Now our listeners are going to send us messages about their stupid fucking dreams, and we're going to have to listen and pretend we care, even though we're only sleeping with a very small percentage of them.
Tom, this is citation
Not
needed.
fair.
If our wives listen, we are sleeping with the vast majority of our listeners.
If.
I love that Martin Luther King finishes his speech and America's like, yeah, but the latent content tells us you like it like this, though. So
The so-called Freudian slip, or the slip of the tongue that contains a hidden nugget of truth about you, it's another example of a repressed desire finding its way to the surface, kind of like the latent content of a dream. So when you say, wanna fuck, instead of, hello, mother, that would be a clue into your psyche. Also, honestly, just saying hello, mother, just using the word mother like that is pretty fucking weird, too. That's a clue into your psyche also.
Yeah.
you say hello, mother, if she calls you. Call back. Call.
Maybe you're just setting up a call forward, Cecil.
Call back.
Moving on to another noteworthy topic of Freud's work, the id, the ego, and the superego.
Woo!
Freud believed the human psyche could be divided into these three parts. The id is the unconscious, the childlike part that does pretty much nothing but seek immediate gratification. And I'm pretty sure Freud's work was basically done at this point, but he kept going. He believed there was an opposite force to the id called the superego, which is the anal retentive, moralistic, scolding voice in our head. And the ego is the resulting middle ground that mediates between the id and the superego and, tries to be happy without going to jail.
All right. So Eli, Noah, and Heath got it. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know,
pretty much.
right?
I am childlike and carefree. I agree. Cecil.
No, in that order. Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm kind of like the wild card ego. It's basically the same thing. So basically, the id and the superego are the devil and the angel on your shoulder, and you're the ego.
Oh boy, if I'm the angel on your shoulder, you are so fucked.
Yeah, especially if Eli's
my
on the other shoulder, because that person's tilting to one side.
Well, yeah, you got the devil and the angel on your shoulder, and you're the ego stuck in the middle of that psychomachia. And Freud saw this constant struggle as the source of two overriding desires in our brain: the life drive, or libido, and the death drive.
Libido,
The life drive is the obvious desire to, survive and put your dick in stuff and have dicks put in your stuff and seek pleasure in general. The devil is the life guy in this scenario. And the death drive is the angel being like, dude, yeah, I mean, all that stuff sounds great. The dicks in your stuff and all that. But you could just end all the problems right now. Just check out. Just relax forever. How nice would that be? Just never watch another Christian movie again. Think about it.
No wonder Eli likes Freud so much. He's Jewish. That makes sense. It makes sense.
And loved cocaine. He could be a pen name. Yeah. What we're saying is that he could be a pen name.
Okay, guys, I just asking, but do all of you guys, everyone have the angel on the other shoulder? Is that standard equipment?
Yeah. Everyone gets an angel to counteract.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. Good. Me too. I have that. I just wanted to make sure you guys all had one too. That's.
I love when Tom wrote that out. He wrote yeps in every color but mine. It's like, there's a certain amount our audience just isn't going to believe. All right, so I feel like based on what I know of Freud, this story should have more dicks and mouths and hamsters and asses by now, shouldn't it?
Okay, sure. Heath says say you want those things, but when I write about a childhood beauty queen whose death shocked the nation, it can only be for platinum night and is technically a crime. Andrew's going to pretend it didn't happen.
Also, did you guys not get the props I sent? I sent props. Now it's just me. All right. Liars. And that brings us to another cornerstone of Freud's work, the idea of psychosexual development and how we all go through a series of stages in early childhood that eventually shape our personalities and our sexual desires as adults. According to Freud, the first year of our life is the oral stage. During this period, many of us had a boobie in our mouth a whole bunch, which was obviously delightful. And that whole thing eventually got shut down for a whole bunch of years in a row after about that first year. And if this stage went badly somehow, it can lead to oral fixations later in life, like smoking and overeating and mouth sex.
You can get a 3 for if you deep throat a kielbasa.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and put a checkbox here. And
yeah, I checked all the boxes ahead of time. It seemed quicker after the episode.
I'm going to do this.
All right, moving on to the second stage. From about age 1 to 3, we go through what Freud calls the anal stage.
Flag day.
During this period, we're learning to work with the bowels and the bladder, so we're focused on butt stuff. And again,
bladder stuff,
if this
discount that.
Yeah, I mean, like, also pee-pee stuff, but like, the focus, like, more importantly, the butt stuff. And again, this phase, if it somehow goes badly, Freud thought it would lead to neuroses when you grow up. If you get yelled at for shitting everywhere, you might become anal retentive and obsessively neat and organized. But if you had bad parents, you might become anal expulsive, characterized by being disorganized, creative, and big into shit play. So, pluses and minuses in both columns.
Not real sure about the pluses side, Heath. Which are the pluses on your list? I don't.
So I want to pose the same question as Tom, except with minuses.
Neat and organized and shit play are pluses, obviously. I think that's clear. All right, next up we have stage 3, also known as the phallic stage, during which we become aware of our genitals outside of just excretion, and that's around ages 3 to 6. And this is where Freud says we develop our Oedipal complexes, or the desire to kill our father and marry our mother, like Oedipus of the Greek tragedy. Apparently, we're just like going to town on our dicks and vaginas at age 3 and just staring at our dad with rage about how he's still got boobie access and we got cut off at 1. Freud's contemporary, Carl Jung, later expanded this idea and suggested the female version of this should be called the Electra complex, referring to a girl's animosity toward her mother and desire for her father. Either way, the general idea is that we're all incestuous murderers at age 3, and if that doesn't go well, we become psychologically unhealthy as we get older.
Why has it got to be marriage? Like, do we have to go right to marry? Can't we just date our moms for a little bit, see how it goes before we commit? This seems like a lot.
Maybe get your daughter a promise ring or something,
So creepy.
I love that Freud is so sexist that someone else had to say to him, what about ladies? Right, despite the fact that almost all of his patients were female, it took another guy to come in there and go, what about people without penises? He's like, oh, right, there is the people without the penis.
And one other component of the Oedipal complex is the idea of castration anxiety and penis envy. Freud believed that as a young boy develops his desire to murder dad, he also develops a fear that dad was onto the whole scheme the whole time. And if he finds out you're trying to murder him and fuck mom, he's going to cut your dick off. And then you'd be a girl, which is obviously terrifying.
No.
And that stays with you and motivates your sexuality as an adult, too.
Yeah, because that's the first fucking solution that jumps to mind if you find out your 3-year-old son has a crush on mom. Just cut his dick
Maybe
off.
not to your mind, Tom, but some of us protect our family.
All right. And that brings us to penis envy.
Some of us were already there, but that brings everybody here together. Yeah.
So, penis envy is what Freud believed to be the female counterpart to castration anxiety. Because, again, he was a feminist. According to Freud, young girls during the phallic stage develop anxiety over not having a penis. I'm not sure how they know about this other option at that point and what it entails, but they do. And this makes the young girls start hating their mom for not birthing them with a penis. It's not clear what the fuck he's talking about. I don't really
Birthing them
get
with
this
the
part.
penis would just hurt mom more. That just seems shitty. I'm not sure even how that would work.
Yeah, we should do an essay on the 6 other deadly sins of the penis someday.
Gym boners, that weird 2-stream thing that happens sometimes.
Yes.
And 4 others.
Penis sloth.
Oh, penis sloth.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
There you go.
Penis gluttony, that's a bad one.
I'd like to meet a penis glutton. That'd be a good.
I can introduce you.
Yeah.
Actually, hard
I'm
pass.
deleting all the jokes. I'm deleting all the jokes.
It's all about the quest for a dick is the general idea, or the quest to keep your dick. And rounding out the list of our stages of psychosexual development, we have the latency stage from about age 6 until puberty, followed by the genital stage, also known as all the rest. So apparently we're just like masturbating furiously on the night before we turn 6 and sharpening knives to kill dad. And then at midnight, we calm right the fuck down and forget about sex and murder. And that lasts until puberty. And then we become insane again, turn our messed up desires into weird sex stuff, and then we die. That's the end, according to Freud.
And we're saying this is not accurate. That's where we're coming from.
All right, so if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, Heath, what would it be?
I love my mother and I love my penis. No, sorry. I love my penis and I love my mother. I got confused.
I'm sure you made that better.
Are you ready for the quiz, sir?
Ready for the quiz.
All right, Heath. Obviously, the Freudian slip has become a common expression, but what did Freud call it? Was it A, the mamapropism, B, a vagich impediment, or C, the slip of the tongue into your dad's asshole?
A, mamapropism.
There you go. Yes.
Nailed it.
All right, Heath. From the sound of all this, Freud got every single thing wrong. All of it's wrong. Why is that? A, because, hey, I got a great idea. When you're basically mainlining a kilo of coke into your cock every day, rarely yields usable results. That.
Okay, well, I reject the premise of your only answer, but A?
That's why both of our podcasts exist, Tom.
Freud is remembered for his famous Oedipus complex. What are some of his lesser known complexes? A, the one where you eat your feelings, or complex carbs. B, when you are a glass case of emotions, or Pyrex complex. C, when you have an uncontrollable urge to be an apiculturist, or B complex. Or D, the one he wrote a paper on with his subordinate Klaus, or complex sentence.
Subordinate Klaus.
It's clearly D.
Oh.
We all want the D. We all want the D. I learned that today.
I don't know. You're right or wrong. I don't know. Sure.
Yep.
B complex. I don't know.
D complex.
I mean, technically, Heath has to win here, but after subordinate Klaus, I don't want it to be. So yeah, but nobody bested you apparently, even though Cecil should win just for subordinate Klaus there. But Heath, you're the winner, and you get to decide who has to do the essay next week.
All right. Noah, tapping you in, man. You're up.
All right, Tom will love that. So for Cecil, Eli, Heath, and Tom, I'm Noah. Thank you for hanging out with us today. We'll be back next week, and by then, I'll be an expert on something else. But between now and then, you can hear more from Tom and Cecil on cognitive dissonance and more from Eli, Heath, and me on the Scathing Atheist, the God Awful Movies podcast, and the Skeptocrat. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod. Yes, we're still there. Or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Post-episode concept revisit?
Post-episode concept revisit.
Audible sigh.
Wild card.
Ad-lib. or again, sorry to be devil's advocate, maybe everyone was sexually abused as a kid. Everyone.
Do you want somebody who actually wasn't sexually abused to do this line?
Oh, I did not realize you were not sexually abused.
I wasn't. I'm just fucking with you.
Best thing you've ever done. 22 years. That's it. Call it.
All right, that's got to get cut. All right, we ready? Okay, start your line again. Start your line again.
No, please don't cut that.
That was fucking amazing.
It was the greatest thing that ever happened. At least send it to
Throw
me.
your line again for the audience. Throw your line again.
Let's test if your wives are listening. Why don't you guys all say something true right now? Just say a truth. Let's check.
I was assaulted as a child.
Cecil was assaulted as a child.
I assaulted Cecil when he was a
I
child.
assaulted Cecil as a child.
All right, so nobody's going to tell the truth. You guys are cowards. Anyway,
Yeah.
quick side note.
Married, Heath. That's the key word there.
Yes.
Married.
Yeah.
Turn around in your chair right now. You see nobody? You see nobody? That's what you get for telling the truth, buddy.
Yeah. Being a coward is in the vows. Like that's part of the deal.
Wonderful. Can't wait. Okay, quick side note.
You'll wait.
The so-called... I absolutely will.
Turn that chair around in 30 years, still nobody. Still nobody.
Hey, fall down and pretend you got hurt right now and call out for help. See what happens. Don't do it on the run. We'll see when someone comes in. Really acting up.
So mean.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No, this is a good way to avoid the problem of me eventually falling down. You guys nailed it. So
Just never let you
Covered in
get up.
bubble wrap. Bitches need not apply.
all right, quick side note on Sigmund Freud.
So mean.